Welcome to the deep dive, where we take you back to all the wild moments of 2024.
Yeah,
Those crazy moments, the ones that were super memeable, even if you scrolled right past them in that internet frenzy.
totally. And, we're diving into Watch Mojo's top 24 viral moments of 2024. And believe me, it's a wild ride.
Well, yeah, for sure.
From all the political scandals to crazy celebrity stuff this year, had it all.
It did.
And I think you found some particularly entertaining, I don't know, nuggets buried in this list.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've got those awkward moments when celebrities run into each other.
Oh,
We've got strange food trends,
Uh-huh.
and even a presidential debate where somebody actually said that immigrants were eating people's pets.
Oh, my God.
So get ready to laugh and maybe cringe a little bit because
Yeah.
2024
Catch
was a
it.
roller coaster.
It was a wild one,
It was.
that's for sure.
So let's start with something that kind of shows us this generational divide.
Okay.
You remember the Rizzler on Jimmy Fallon?
Oh, yeah.
That guy Christian Joseph,
Yeah.
who was the king of the deadpan
Hyper deadpan
expression.
Yeah.
He went super viral on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
And Fallon, trying to get in on all that Gen Z humor seemed completely lost.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Fallon trying to get it, just made it even funnier.
Yeah.
For Gen Z, it was all about Joseph's subtle humor and almost ironic humor.
Right.
Well, Fallon's style, that more traditional comedic style, just couldn't keep up.
Right. It was a different kind of humor.
It really shows us how humor is always changing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's driven by these online subcultures and those crazy algorithms.
Yeah.
Speaking of algorithms, do you remember the Cucumber King, Logan Moffat?
Oh,
He
yeah.
basically sliced cucumbers on TikTok and got millions of views.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Cucumbers.
Right.
But his videos were kind of mesmerizing, weren't they?
Yeah. They were kind of soothing in a way.
It's he tapped into this primal satisfaction that we have with perfectly sliced food.
Mm-hmm.
It was ASMR meets culinary arts.
Uh-huh.
And, TikTok's algorithm, which is designed to surface the content that keeps people watching,
Right.
it just amplified his reach.
Yeah, it definitely did.
And then there's Justin Timberlake's DUI arrest,
Oh, gosh. Yes.
which started a whole different conversation about generations.
Uh-huh.
The officer didn't even recognize him.
Oh, wow.
And JT's response was, "What tour?"
Oh, yeah.
Which instantly became a meme
Yeah.
and perfectly captured that feeling of, wait, am I old? That so many millennials were experiencing.
Right.
It's his past success made the whole thing even more awkward.
Yeah. I could see that.
It was this harsh reminder that pop culture moves fast, and even somebody who was the king of pop can just fade from the spotlight.
Right.
Is that the fate of every pop star, or is there something unique about JT's situation?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But speaking of pop stars who haven't faded from the spotlight, let's talk about Taylor Swift.
Uh-huh.
2024 was practically the year of Taylor Swift.
It was.
Her Spotify streams were insane.
Yeah.
She dominated the Super Bowl halftime show, and her Eras tour
Right.
was a global phenomenon.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It shows how she can just stay on top,
Yeah.
Her ability to change her music and her image and still connect with fans of all ages.
Yeah.
She's like a chameleon,
She is.
You know?
She is.
adapting to this ever-changing landscape of pop culture
Uh-huh.
while staying, undeniably Taylor Swift.
Totally.
Absolutely. And speaking of unexpected adaptations,
Yeah.
remember the Brat Summer trend?
Oh, yes.
It was started by Charlie XCX and this surprising alliance with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
It was this weird mix of pop culture rebellion
Yeah.
and political messaging.
Right. It was this unexpected pair.
Who knew the vice president had such a bratty side?
I know, right?
But it was actually pretty clever.
It was.
Charlie XCX's music provided the soundtrack for this whole movement
Right.
about individuality and empowerment.
Right.
And Kamala Harris, by using the term brat, kind of challenged how we think politicians should behave.
Yeah.
It was a reminder that even in the serious world of politics, there's room for personality and being real,
Right.
and maybe even a little bit of rebellion.
A little bit.
But not all the viral moments were lighthearted.
Yeah.
2024 also had some dark times.
It did.
The attempted assassination of Donald Trump was a serious reminder of how divided we are politically
Right.
and the dangers that are still out there.
Absolutely.
It was a shocking event that really shook the country
Yeah.
and left a lot of people feeling really unsettled.
Yeah.
And then there are all those things we learned about Drake Bell in the Quiet on Set docuseries,
Oh,
which
yeah.
showed us this like dark side of the entertainment industry.
Uh-huh.
These were like sobering reminders that behind all the glitz and glamour of the internet, there are some very real issues happening, like abuse and exploitation
Yeah.
and the dangers of power that goes unchecked.
Absolutely.
It's like a stark contrast to those moments of pure entertainment.
Right.
Like, remember Rachel Reagan's breakdancing routine at the Olympics?
Oh, yes. How could I forget?
She was like this whirlwind of energy,
Yeah.
defying expectations and reminding us that sometimes it's okay to just let loose and have fun.
Yeah.
In a year full of heavy news and all this drama,
Right.
her performance was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
it was a reminder of the power of the human spirit and how much joy can come from unexpected places.
Yeah. And how much fun it is to just let go sometimes.
Right. And speaking of unexpected, how about that Dune popcorn bucket?
Oh, yeah.
It went viral for all the wrong reasons.
It did.
It was just a little too anatomically suggestive, even for like a giant sandworm.
Yeah. I mean,
But you got to admit, it was kind of funny.
it was kind of funny.
It became this self-aware meme that like everyone, even the director and the cast of the film, could laugh at.
Right.
It's like the whole internet collectively said, okay, this is weird,
Hmm.
but we're going to laugh at how absurd it is.
Yeah.
It's that ability to find humor in the unexpected
Right.
that makes the internet such a fascinating and unpredictable place.
Absolutely.
And speaking of unpredictable,
Yeah.
the Diddy saga was like a real-life soap opera playing out on our social media feeds.
It really was.
From the accusations of misconduct
Yeah.
to his very public arrest, it was a lot to process.
It was.
And it raised some important questions about accountability
Right.
and power and what happens when people behave badly.
And then the consequences of that.
And then there was that Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he actually showed up is amazing.
I know,
Talk
right?
about being a good sport.
Yeah.
It was like this lighthearted moment that reminded us that even celebrities can laugh at themselves.
Right.
But before we get into even more of 2024's crazy moments, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll be exploring even more viral moments,
Mm-hmm.
from the ridiculous to the really deep stuff that shapes the year 2024.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we're continuing to look at 2024's most viral moments, and you're going to be surprised at how much more there is to cover.
I think so, too. There was a lot going on.
It was a busy year.
Yeah.
So let's pick up where we left off with that moment where everyone was like, what tour?
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake's DUI arrest not only showed us how fame can be fleeting, but it also became like this meme for millennials getting older.
It did. It really did.
And it makes you think, do all pop stars have this kind of reckoning with their past?
Right.
Or was there something specific about JT that led to this?
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but it definitely started a conversation about how we see celebrities as they get older and like how their past actions affect their image today.
Yeah. It really does make you think.
Yeah.
But speaking of pop stars,
Yeah.
2024 was also a huge year for Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
Her song Espresso was everywhere.
It was.
From TikTok trends to like that SNL parody,
Yeah.
Espresso, really made her like a true pop star.
Right.
Won Song of the Year at the VMAs, and then her collaboration with Jenna Ortega on Taste
Yes.
was like the perfect pop culture match.
It was.
It seemed like everything she did was successful.
Yeah, she had a great year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of unexpected pairings,
Yeah.
how about that Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson boxing match?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone online was like buzzing about it.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
But the actual fight was, well, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it was.
We all thought it would be more exciting.
Right.
But, hey, at least we can say that Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the knockout we were all hoping for.
Right.
It's a reminder that, you know, with viral moments, the hype doesn't always live up to reality.
Yeah. Not always.
And sometimes reality is even weirder than fiction.
Yeah.
Remember the J.D. Vance couch gag?
Oh, yeah.
This totally made-up rumor, like, took off online.
It did.
It became this strange example of how fast misinformation can spread.
Right.
Especially when it's about something ridiculous.
Especially then.
It just goes to show you the internet loves a good conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
no matter how crazy it is.
No matter how crazy.
And speaking of crazy, remember Elon Musk's dark MAGA phase?
Oh, yeah.
From his over-the-top tweets to, like, that unforgettable jump he did at a Trump rally?
Yes.
It was like watching a billionaire kid in a candy store.
It was kind of strange to see.
Right.
Huh?
His super enthusiastic support for Trump was really different from his image as this tech genius focused on innovation.
Yeah, it definitely was a change.
It just goes to show that even the most powerful people can get caught up in political movements,
Right.
sometimes in ways that really surprise us.
Yeah, you never know.
And sometimes those political movements take unexpected turns,
Right.
like the Brat Summer trend we talked about earlier. It challenged what we think is normal and started conversations about individuality and empowerment,
Mm.
all through this mix of pop music and political messages.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was a reminder that even in a super political year, like 2024,
Right.
there was still space for fun and self-expression.
Absolutely.
And, a little bit of rebellion.
A little bit, yeah.
But you're right. Not every viral moment was lighthearted.
That's true.
Remember the Haku girl?
Oh, yes, Haley Welch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that street interview was so awkward.
It went viral for all the wrong reasons, but it showed us how random the internet can be.
It did.
One minute, she's just a random woman being interviewed, and the next, she's this internet sensation with merch and a podcast.
Right.
You really can't predict what will catch the internet's attention.
No, you can't.
And speaking of catching the internet's attention,
Yeah.
who could forget Mudang, that adorable baby pygmy hippo?
Oh, Mudang was so cute.
In a year that felt really chaotic and overwhelming, Mudang gave us this, much-needed dose of pure joy
Right.
and wholesomeness.
Yeah, Mudang was like a bright spot.
It's amazing how a baby animal can unite people from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like the whole internet decided to take a break from all the drama
Uh-huh.
and just enjoy this cute roly-poly hippo.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we all need a break from the serious stuff and that happiness can come from simple things.
Absolutely.
But back to the absurd.
Okay.
Remember Jules LeBron and her demure persona?
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of ironic, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
The word demure means shy,
Mm-hmm.
but her videos were the opposite of shy.
Right.
She was bold and confident and made demure seem cool.
Yeah.
It was like she took back the word and gave it a whole new meaning.
Yes, she did.
It was a clever play on words
Yeah.
and a reminder that, embracing your own unique style
Mm-hmm.
can make you stand out online.
It can.
And speaking of standing out,
Yes.
how about those Wicked dolls? They went viral, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
The website printed on their boxes was not exactly appropriate for kids.
Right.
It turned this big marketing campaign into a hilarious mess up.
Yeah, it did.
It shows you that even the biggest companies can make mistakes.
They can.
And sometimes those mistakes are more memorable than the product itself.
Yeah, sometimes they are.
But sometimes the internet doesn't just focus on the light stuff or the silly things.
Right.
Remember the Netflix show Baby Reindeer?
Oh, yeah.
What started as this really interesting show about Richard Gadd's experiences
Uh-huh.
turned into this real-life mystery.
It did.
As viewers became like internet detectives
Yeah.
trying to find the real people behind the characters.
Yeah, they were like trying to solve a puzzle.
It was cool to watch people searching online for clues,
Right.
trying to piece together the true story.
It was.
It made us think about privacy and whether it's okay to do all this online sleuthing.
Right.
But it also showed how powerful online communities can be.
Uh-huh.
They can investigate and find information,
Yeah.
sometimes even better than the news media.
Sometimes.
But sometimes reality is just stranger than anything you could make up.
Yes.
The U.S. presidential debates were a perfect example of that.
There were.
From Biden's flop sweats
Yeah.
to Trump saying that Haitian immigrants were eating house pets.
Oh, my God.
It was like a roller coaster of emotions.
It was.
Those debates really showed us what the political climate was like at the time.
Yeah, they did.
This mix of serious policy talk and crazy moments
Right.
that left people entertained and totally confused.
Yeah.
You're right. It was a wild mix.
It was a wild mix.
Speaking of wild,
Okay.
we have to acknowledge a very serious event that shook the nation.
Right.
The attempted assassination of Donald Trump.
Yes.
It was a stark reminder of how divided we are politically and the dangers that are still out there.
Yeah, it was a scary time.
It was a really disturbing event that left a lot of people scared and unsure about the future.
Yeah, it did.
And on a different note, but equally serious, were the things we learned about Drake Bell, the Quiet on Set docuseries.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
It was a difficult but important story.
It was.
It shed light on the dark side of the entertainment world.
Right.
It showed how vulnerable young performers are
Uh-huh.
and reminded us that even our childhood heroes can have flaws and hurt others.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a call to action to protect kids,
Yeah.
hold abusers responsible,
Yeah.
and make the entertainment industry safer and fairer for everyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But before we finish our look at the viral moments of 2024,
Okay.
there are a few more stories we need to revisit.
Uh-huh.
From Diddy's rise and fall to that crazy mom talk drama on Hulu.
Okay.
Stay with us. And we're back for like the final part of our look at those viral moments that define 2024.
Yes, we are.
And you do not want to miss what we have in store.
So much good stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about everything from slicing cucumbers to presidential debates, but we saved some of the most like jaw-dropping and thought-provoking moments for last.
Oh, me too.
Let's start with that saga that had everyone glued to their screens.
Oh.
The rise and fall of Diddy Combs,
Right.
the music mogul and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He went from being an icon to like a trending topic for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Over 120 accusations of misconduct, a very public arrest,
Yeah.
and then like people digging into his past and finding some really problematic things.
Right.
It made a lot of people wonder how we didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
It was this whirlwind of headlines, legal battles,
Uh-huh.
and then this reckoning with like the consequences of power and influence.
Right.
It made us question whether those who seem untouchable can actually be held accountable.
Yeah, it did.
It's a reminder that the internet never forgets,
Yeah.
and that even those who seem to have it all
Uh-huh.
can face consequences for their actions.
That's right.
But speaking of scandals that played out online,
Uh-huh.
remember that mom talk drama on Hulu?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives docuseries
Uh-huh.
was like watching a real-life soap opera.
You know,
It was full of infidelity, betrayal, and a whole lot of momfluencer drama.
yeah.
All starting with Taylor Frankie Paul confessing about soft swinging with other couples.
Oh, yeah.
From there, it just spiraled into divorces, arrests, and like a lot of blaming each other.
Yeah. It was wild.
It was a fascinating look into a world that a lot of people didn't know anything about.
Right.
It sparked these conversations about marriage and fidelity
Uh-huh.
and the pressures of being famous on social media.
Right.
It showed us how quickly a seemingly perfect online life
Right.
can fall apart,
Yeah.
revealing the messy truth behind those curated social media feeds.
It's true.
And speaking of social media fame,
Yeah.
who could forget that Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest?
Oh, yeah.
The fact that Chalamet himself showed up is legendary.
I know, right?
Can you imagine hundreds of people dressed as Willy Wonka,
Yeah.
all competing for the attention of the real Timothy Chalamet?
That's amazing.
It was like something straight out of a movie.
It was.
It was a lighthearted moment that showed us that even big celebrities can have a sense of humor.
Right.
It was a reminder that sometimes the best way to handle the craziness of fame
Uh-huh.
is to just embrace it.
Yeah.
And speaking of craziness,
Yeah.
how about that Willy Wonka experience in Scotland?
Oh, yeah.
It was supposed to be this immersive chocolate wonderland,
Right.
but it was a total disaster.
Yeah, it
It was like a dingy warehouse with AI-generated scripts and characters that weren't even in the original story.
Yeah.
It was a recipe for disappointment.
Oh, wait.
And the internet had a field day making fun of the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was a warning about what happens when you hype something up too much
Right.
and the importance of delivering on what you promise, especially now when online reviews and social media
Yeah.
can make or break a business.
Definitely.
But sometimes reality is just more unbelievable than any fictional disaster.
Right. Like, remember the second U.S. presidential debate?
Yeah. When Trump said that Haitian immigrants were eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio,
Oh, yeah.
even Kamala Harris, who's known for being composed,
Yeah.
couldn't hide her disbelief.
Right.
It was a surreal moment
It was.
that really showed us the misinformation and fear-mongering that was happening in politics in 2024.
Yeah. It was a good example of that.
It's a stark reminder that we need to think critically and check the facts,
Right.
especially during elections.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of critical thinking,
Uh-huh.
the Baby Reindeer docuseries showed us how powerful internet sleuthing can be.
Yeah.
Viewers turned into amateur detectives,
Right.
looking for the real people behind those characters
Yeah.
and uncovering details that went beyond the show.
Mm-hmm.
It raised questions about privacy and whether these online investigations are ethical,
Right.
blurring the lines between what's real and what's not.
Yeah, it did.
But it also showed how powerful online communities are
Uh-huh.
when it comes to finding the truth and holding people accountable. And speaking of accountability,
Yeah.
the Quiet on Set docuseries exposed the dark side of the entertainment industry
It did.
with those shocking revelations about Drake Bell.
Yeah.
It was a heartbreaking reminder
Uh,
that child stars can be vulnerable to exploitation and abuse.
Right.
The docuseries was a call to action to protect young performers
Yeah.
and make the industry safer and fairer.
It was.
But let's end on a positive note.
Okay.
With Rachel Ray Gunn's incredible breakdancing routine at the Olympics,
Oh, yeah, Ray Gun.
she was a whirlwind of energy and pure joy.
She was.
This much-needed dose of fun and absurdity
Right.
in a year that was often overwhelming and unpredictable.
It was.
Her performance showed the power of the human spirit to inspire and uplift
Yeah.
and remind us that sometimes it's okay to just let loose and have fun.
Yeah.
So what does all this mean?
Yeah.
What can we learn from looking back at these viral moments of 2024?
That's a good question.
I think it reminds us that the internet is this powerful force. It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It can do great good and great harm.
Right.
It can amplify voices, expose injustice, and bring people together.
It can.
But it can also be a place where misinformation, hate, and exploitation thrive.
Yeah, that's true.
Ultimately, it's up to each of us to be critical thinkers, have meaningful conversations,
Mm.
and use our online platforms
Yeah.
to make the world a more just and equitable place.
That's a good goal.
And who knows, maybe along the way we'll even create some memes that'll make people laugh and think and remember the year that was 2024.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
Until next time, keep an eye on the internet and never stop questioning, exploring, and engaging with the world around you. You never know what's going to break the internet next.
That's true.